hitting really well in Columbus. Been driving the ball all over the ballpark, been playing pretty good defense, and really starting to mature and develop as a player overall. And so, really excited to have J Rod here and see what he can bring. And obviously, on the flip side, really, really disappointing, sad day to let Ramon go, especially with my relationship with him, being a former teammate. And it was just time on both sides, and obviously not a fun day or a decision. But wish Ramon nothing but the best, and excited that J Rod's here.
Everybody has a different scale on how many bats. There's no number, but looking from far, it seems like Jonathan's got a pretty decent amount of the bats. It'll be double your point. How much do you think that should help him?
I think he's ready. Obviously our organization as a whole believes he's ready. So I don't know if there's a magic number. I think it's the different experiences and things he's been through, but also the fact that he's worked really hard and done some things that we asked of him coming out of spring, and he's answered those. And Andy Tracy does such a good job down there of helping those guys develop into major leaguers, and couldn't be more thankful for the work that Trace Jr., D-Rob, all the guys that have put their hands on him down there in Columbus.
I'm going to be talking to Lindor here in a few minutes. What do you remember about preparing to face him when you're a catcher and get ready for games?
It's not an easy at bat to navigate. He can do a lot of things. He can make contact. He can hit the ball out of the yard. He can make things happen on the bases. I mean, Francisco's been one of the best players in our league for a really long time, and coming to Cleveland was no picnic, or New York now, but it's going to be really fun seeing him back in Cleveland. I think it's always fun to see a player who has helped a franchise get to, World Series, and he's always smiling. He's always laughing. It seems like just a very happy person. So I'm excited to see him back in Cleveland tonight.
Was there a collective "oh no" in the dugout when Hemi came around second base yesterday and had to slam on the brakes?
Oh no is one way to describe it. Yeah, I mean, that whole ninth inning, I've replayed that a million times over the last 24 hours, and that's one of the more chaotic, weird innings. We may never see any of those plays again the rest of the year, and they all happened within 12 minutes of each other. And that includes the Brendan walk-off. Just that entire inning on both sides. I'm just really fortunate we came up on top of that, and yeah, it was just an interesting inning.
That play specifically, is there a teaching point? I mean, I know you wanted to be aggressive. Is it kind of a commit or don't kind of situation?
I think it's an aggressive base runner. It's an aggressive base runner that had a tough read. He saw Vasquez's whole back still moving towards the backstop, and you talk about it and just understand, like, you're in scoring position already. But I don't hate the thought of trying to get to third. It's just more of, like, we got one of our best hitters at the plate right now. Like, let's let these guys drive you in.
The true, the best cologne is winning. And I say that that when you have to go to teaching lessons, it's easier to go back today, tomorrow, and something like that after a win, maybe a loss.
Yeah, I think so. I also think we learn our best lessons through losing. I think it's, when we lose a game from time to time, I'll tell him, I'm like, we needed this. We needed this to remind us of where we need to get better, where we need to improve. So, I hope it doesn't happen that often, but every now and then when you do lose, you learn a lot more from failure than you do success.
Baseball seems like we all do. It's hard to be patient. Like early in the season, that every year it's on the bullpen season. Not even in this period of time. You get extra, like, why do you think it works that way?
It's just the ebbs and flows of a season, right? I think, we relied 4.5 to 5 innings a night on our bullpen for the first few weeks of the year. And then now we've had a pretty nice run of 2.5 to 3 innings of work for them. And it's just a credit to our starting pitching, and Carl and Joe and BG diving in, and our catchers, man. I can't speak highly enough about the work and the prep that our catchers are putting in. They know and love these guys, and they work tirelessly on their strengths and knowing the hitter's weaknesses, and that's what's allowing our starting pitching to go deep.
Now that you've been around him for a few months, just you speak to what Carl means to a pitching staff and a coaching staff, I guess.
He's the steady rock that we all need. He's forgotten more than we all know or have seen. and he's just that voice of calm and reason. And I go back to the first series in Minnesota, when our first game where things were really getting hairy, and he just looked at me and goes, "Are you having fun yet?" And just, he knows when to break the tension. He knows when to do that, but he also knows how to teach these pitchers. And that's where with Joe and BG, with a lot of the newer data technology, like, we use the TrackMan, and we call Carl the walking TrackMan, because he can tell you exactly what the metrics are saying without even looking at them. And so just to have that steady leader who loves how much Joe and BG bring to the pitching team as well, I think he's a special and unique human being.
Gotcha, so what do you think it means? You got a veteran guy who called it. There's gotta be something to that, right? That there are guys that have been around the game, played the game, that don't need all the technology to see it being maybe what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think what it is that the technology, the data, the analytics, what they do is they solidify the baseball. It gives you evidence behind what you're seeing, and it challenges those things, that the preconceived notions we have about the game of baseball, the old school rules, or the little things that we just believe are absolutes in baseball. Well, the data can either confirm that, or maybe I need to look at this a little bit differently, or whatever it might be. And so it's all saying the same thing. It's just that the data is concrete.
Do you have a Carl impression yet?
Hmm?
Do you have a Carl whistle?
It's coming. It's coming.
How long does it usually take?
I don't practice them. They just kind of happen organically. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, Classe was just sitting there talking about how much better his focus is this year, and I know you hadn't been around him until this year. But was that kind of an off-season thing that you guys talked about with him, or was that something that kind of you inherited, that you knew that maybe this was an element of his game that needed to work on?
Yeah, I mean, he spoke about it when he got to spring training, but the thing with Classe is that he had an unbelievable year, then he had a very good year, but he wanted to get back to have an unbelievable year. And I just love the way he goes about his business. His prep work is so detail oriented. He's ready to go. And when he's out there, I mean, he's just smiling, having a good time. He is uber focused and competitive, but that's just in his nature. He's having a blast out there. And so I love giving him the ball in the ninth.
Yeah, what does it mean to have a guy like that? I mean, that's the guy. Not every team